In the past year and a half, we've all been hearing non-stop about the so-called trucking crisis.
The trucking industry faced a hiring and retention crisis.
I'm just looking at the numbers, and the numbers tell me there's a truck crisis.
The White House and Democrats keep blaming inflation on the supply chain crisis.
But let's take a closer look. Is this really a crisis or just a panicked reaction of the carriers who got used to the COVID pandemic rates? You might have noticed a significant drop in rates over the last couple of years, and it's natural to think of it as a crisis. I mean, if I entered the market in 2021 when the rates were like this, and then saw this drop, then I would probably yell about the trucking crisis at every corner as well. But let's roll back to the years before the pandemic. This is what the market looked before COVID. Take a closer look at the rate here. See that even before the pandemic, the rate was around $2.10 per mile, just like today. This is what the normal market looks like. Nothing changed. The rates in 2023 are not lower than average. They are the average. The pandemic was the one with abnormally high prices. Okay, let's think about what else might have changed in the last 4 years. Right, the diesel. From 2019 to 2023, the cost of a diesel has almost doubled. It rose from $2.98 to $4.50 a gallon. Can this maybe qualify as a crisis? Probably. Let's make a remark here. We are talking about dispatching after all. A crisis is different for everyone, and if you work in a sphere that allows you to bypass the moments affecting the reduction of income, then the crisis is not so terrible to you. Should an aspiring dispatcher worry about the rising fuel prices? No, because they don't have such an expense. But we'll dive into this deeper later in the video. We all know that the high fuel prices around the world are a result of a Russia-Ukraine war. But after the diesel price got bigger, why didn't the cost of transportation get bigger as well? In fact, it even dropped back to the 2019 levels. There is a simple explanation for this. Does that ring a bell? Yeah, this chart is almost exactly the same as the last one. This graph shows the number of new carriers that get registered every year. See how everything is pretty much at the same level, just like in the previous graph? Well, bam! Look at the 2021 year. It happened again. Let's see actually what happened and how it got to this point. First, COVID started. Then everyone got stuck at home. Most truck drivers refused to work at the start because of a panic, so automatically those who did agree to work in these circumstances were getting paid a lot more than usual, around $5 to $10 a mile. And compared to the $2.10 per mile you get in a regular market, this was a lot. So this is when the word got out in the world that you can now earn lots of money as a truck driver. This is when the boom happened. Tens of thousands of people decided they wanted to join the industry, but eventually the fairy tale ended. Things got back to normal, meaning at the $2.10 rate per mile. So obviously, for those who opened the company in 2021, invested in buying trucks and had no experience of working in normal conditions, it was a collapse. Yes, for them, this is a real crisis. So what should we expect next? Many trucking company bankruptcies, especially the new ones that have no experience in the regular market. Just like we're seeing now. This is literally called natural selection, and only the strongest trucking companies will win. But that's okay, because these companies were not supposed to be here in the first place, at least not in this amount. So yes, in the next 2 to 3 years, when the industry gets cleared off of inexperienced and weak trucking companies, the prices for transportation will increase. There is one thing I don't understand though. People that are afraid to join truck dispatching because, as they say, the market is low. For dispatchers, it really is not. I understand if you're a carrier or an owner-operator, in that case, you have to worry about diesel expenses and taxes, which are now higher. But, as I mentioned earlier, a dispatcher does not have to worry about this. As a dispatcher, you literally get paid with a commission from the gross profit of a driver before any taxes and expenses. And I'm reminding you that the rates have not changed. They are the same as they were before the pandemic. So what does this mean for the dispatcher's income? Well, let me show you in some real numbers. This means that if in 2019 a driver was making $30,000 gross profit a month and a dispatcher was getting 4.5% from that amount, then today the situation is literally the same. The transportation prices didn't change. If you are getting around $1,300 from one driver in 2019, you'll get the same in 2023. No matter if a diesel price doubled or even tripled, you don't have that expense. So no, this is not a crisis for dispatchers. It's just the normal market, which in 2 to 3 years will be even better because weak trucking companies will leave the industry. And that means that prices from the brokers for the loads will improve because now it will be harder for them to find trucks. Honestly, I don't know what to call it anymore. Crisis or market rehabilitation process. Just tell me in the comments what you think about it. One thing I know for sure is that this has nothing to do with the dispatcher job, and with time it will only get better. So if you were already thinking of trying it out but had doubts, right now is the moment you should do it. Don't wait until the prices get really big again and the dispatcher competition is extra high. Build a database of drivers and brokers now. Create connections now. Get experience now and get training now. Because when the prices will be big, you will have 7 trucks, $10,000 a month, and you will work for yourself. While everyone else who hesitated will have to figure out how to get past the huge amount of dispatchers that didn't hesitate and join the market at the right time. If this is the path you want to take, sign up for a free meeting with our dispatch expert to find out everything you need about the job and get started. And don't forget to subscribe. Our channel has information that you won't find anywhere else for free.